Hey, I'm John Bollinger with Premier Guitar, and I'm with Satchel. He is the driving force of Steel Panther, the one-man guitar army.
I can't take all the credit. I book the flights, I write the songs, I tell everybody what to do, and I'm pretty much the main guy in the band.
You are the.
I also get. I'm not trying to brag, but I do get the most pussy.
Yeah, yeah, obviously, yeah. You're like the Eddie of this band.
Listen, I mean, let's just put it this way: if Valerie Bertinelli was here right now, I'd be fucking her. Can I say that? It's the internet. I can say anything I want, right?
Yes.
It's horrible.
Yes.
He said he was gonna fuck Valerie. No, I just said I would.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, who wouldn't at this point, right?
Valerie, the ball is in your court.
Literally and figuratively.
In the meantime, let's talk about this guitar in celebration of your new album. Congratulations, it's fabulous.
Thank you. We have a brand new record called On the Prowl. It's out now for free. It's free! Guys, the new business model is really working out for listeners out there. You can listen to it for free. Our album is free, and this is the cover of our album. And Ron, my buddy Ron, painted this. Ron Williams is his name, and he's super awesome at art. And that's 1987. People are like, why 1987? Well, that's the year that I hit retirement age. I'm just kidding. I was only in my mid-40s at that point. But we have a song called 1987, and we actually sold some of these guitars.
Oh. Fabulous.
For a small, I think they were going for only $75 or something. It was crazy. We're selling some miniature versions on our website, steelpantherrocks.com, but we sold some full real life versions of this guitar as well, and I think they sold out. We didn't sell a whole lot of them, but this is a badass looking guitar.
God, I love it. Okay,
it is.
Tell me about, first of all, the inlays on the neck are.
They're one of a kind. I can't believe nobody ever did this before. Those are strippers.
Yeah, on the pole.
That's what strippers, those are silhouettes of strippers in Las Vegas. Because the ones that you find in Oklahoma City are much bigger. But yeah, they're basically dancing around the poles, and it looks badass on a guitar neck. Can you zoom in on that? How great, it's like, and that was Ron's idea, and I was like, how come nobody ever came up with that idea before? Stripper inlays on the frets. And then I realized as I was trying to play this guitar that I don't know where the dots are because there's strippers everywhere. So when I play this guitar, I hit a lot of bad notes. Put it that way.
Little distracting, totally worth it.
It's okay though because our singer hits bad notes all night, so it doesn't really matter. It actually works better. It's kind of like Led Zeppelin 4. Everything's out of tune, but it's just in the right way, right?
Yeah. Hey, can you show the back of it too?
Yes. The back is almost the best part, right?
Yeah.
I need to do. Yeah, it's a beautiful mouth. It's actually my singer's mouth. It looks good. Yeah, the paint job's amazing, and actually a lot of people don't. You can't really tell just unless you really zoom in. But if you zoom in on the fine tuners, it does say vagina.
Oh,
it spells out vagina.
That's sweet.
Which is totally great. Like somebody's going to try to cancel me. He can't say vagina on the fine tuners. That's offensive. Yeah, but when it's perfectly in tune, you can read it. Like that's how you know you're in tune. You don't even listen to the guitar. You just know that when it's the letters line up. I don't even care if it's in tune. I just care if people can read vagina on there.
Sure.
But yeah, it's this guitar is a Charvel. It's got a stripper on
signature. You got a signature model. Are they going to release this as a signature as well?
You know what? If Charvel gets their goddamn act together, they will.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. We did release a limited edition of this. Like I said, I don't know if there's an easy way to do like a version of this because it's it's not easy to do all this stuff. But I do have a really awesome guitar over here, and this is actually it's a Charvel. This is my personal handler, Nick Rucker. He's not only our front of house guy, and he tells me what to do. Writes all the lyrics, writes all the music, and he takes the guitars away. But he brings me the slightly different, but just as bitchin' model. This is the Satchel model you can get at one of them. I don't know if you can't get the yellow and black one anymore. I think they're doing a white and black one, kind of looks like a zebra now.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
But this was a neon zebra, which actually they started to do that now that they've got mRNA and they're putting it in everybody. They started to put glow-in-the-dark zebra DNA into zebras now, and which is really great. I mean, this new technology is really amazing. They can make your dick glow. I don't know if you know that. It's really neat. That way you can always pee at night without having to turn the light on.
Where do I sign up? That
yeah,
is
it's great.
yeah, that is great.
Great ideas with this mRNA technology, and this is one of my guitars, one of the Satchel models. All of the Satchel models have those are, I think it's 37 frets.
Sure, and fat frets. Those are.
Oh, they're fat.
Yeah,
they're super fat. They're like you can bend. I could bend like I don't even know, like an octave, an entire octave on this if I wanted to.
yeah,
But I don't because you know what? It's like showing off for no reason.
right.
It's like, you know, I could walk into a bar and fuck your girlfriend, but I'm not going to do that. Not in front of your face. You know? I'll wait till later. But so sometimes when I'm alone in a room, I'll bend like an octave just to see if I can do it. And I also lift weights with my fingers. Sometimes just
Sure.
put weights. I'll put like a 75 pounds on my fingers and I'll just do that. It helps with the bending. Bending is really important. A lot of kids,
Yeah,
when I say kids, I mean everybody under 60. They don't understand how important the bends are. A lot of people are too busy trying to play fast all the time. And but it's important to have big frets.
sure.
And you know, I've always opted for like jumbos. I think these might be considered jumbo frets, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, those are big.
Those are jumbo. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not like, you know, when you get a stock like Telecaster or something,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, these are little baby frets. How do these country guys do it? And then you see a country guy with his little cowboy hat and short hair, and you're like,
Yeah.
this guy's so adorable. He's got tiny frets. And then he just rips. And you're like, fuck these guys. You know? And then, you know, I always try to give country guys distortion pedals just so I'm like, dude, playing too clean. You're too intimidating. You know what I mean? Like, dirty up your sound a little bit.
Sure.
Am
Yeah.
I rambling right now?
No,
I did a
no,
bunch of cocaine
Satchel,
right
this is
before-
all pure gold. This is all gold. No,
Okay,
I
great.
love it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you guys can thank me later.
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
get when you have like over 1,000 views on this.
Yes. Nick's helping out a little
Nick,
bit there.
Sometimes my pants ride low and he comes hikes them up.
Sure.
Thank you, Nick.
Good tech. Okay, so basically you're switching between your signature and this new beautiful one-off.
Yes, I've got a couple guitars. You know, I try to keep it minimal when I'm out on the road. We do have some guitar changes on this tour. Like I'm playing a 12-string on the song 1987.
Oh, would you mind if we look at that?
No, we can check that out.
Yeah. Do you keep it on the stand?
This is, yeah, I do actually keep it on the stand because I switch off between doing this one guitar part. And I really shouldn't even have the bottom three strings because it's the top three strings that I play, but I switch between that and this guitar. This is tuned different right now. There's different tunings. The more records you put out as a band, the more you start to go, gosh, we've done 43 songs in the key of E flat, right? So because we tuned down E flat, like old Van Halen school stuff. So we started, I started doing more tunings, like tuning to 440, just to give, different tonalities on the record and stuff. But this is a song that we've been doing. It's called 1987, and we really like it. And I know this is going to sound really crazy. It went to #1 on the German rock charts, and we were like, well, we have to learn it for Germany, so we might as well play it in the United States. And but unfortunately, it's tuned to 440, so I'm using a 440 guitar, using this 12-string, which is actually tuned to 440, except that the high E string is tuned down to E flat, so I can get the major third of the B chord. So like,
Oh, yeah.
and that's the only part, but it's like, we got to bring this whole damn guitar. It's a huge pain in the ass. Kids, do something easy like play the drums. It's so much easier. Hit stuff.
Yeah, hit stuff. Well, it sounds great, and I love the whole musicality of it. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. It is worth it sometimes. When I was thinking about like getting a double neck guitar and I called my buddy Mike Tempesta at Charvel, and I was like, hey, can I get a double neck made? And he said, yeah, totally. It's going to cost you about $7,000. I said, all right, see you later. Click.
Yeah.
Hung up. No, they said they can make anything, but they don't have stock double necks.
Sure.
So I didn't get a double neck, and that's why I've got this on this is called a Gracie stand, right? So I got this on a Gracie stand. Very complicated stuff. It's not. This is why we pay everybody that works with us a lot of money, and I go home with about $7 after the tour.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
I know.
So that covers basically guitars. Now,
Yes.
Amp and effects wise, why don't we take a walk over there?
Yes, let's do that. We
Run
can move this
Yep,
baby
there
away.
you go. Nick,
That's right.
thank
We have to
you.
return that to the rental company when we're done.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as amps go, over the years, when I started off back in the day, I would play through pretty much whatever. I mean, I was very broke as a teenager.
Sure.
And I didn't have a lot of money. Back in the 80s, there was a lot of remember Bradshaw? I think it was Bradshaw, the
Oh, yeah,
racks.
Bradshaw racks. Oh, yeah.
And everybody had these racks, and I was like, God, I hated all these rich kids with rich parents, and all the parents were buying them racks. And I was like, I noticed, though, that they could afford all these racks, but the more stuff you put on your rack, the more it sounded processed. It was hard to hear the guitar over the drums. And so I was always sort of opting for the less is more approach. Just give me a guitar with a good pickup and a amp. And so I did that for a long, long time. And I didn't have a whole lot of pedals, but probably about 8 years ago, would you say? 8 years ago when we switched over? 2015. Yeah, so about 8 years ago. There was, they started coming out with all the amp modelers. Well, it was before that, but I kept hearing about amp modelers.
Yeah.
And I was one of those old dudes that was just like, I don't care, dude. Take your amp modeler and shove it up your ass. Because I'm never, ever going to play with an amp modeler. And I'm never going to use a pocket pussy. I'm always going to fuck real girls. And so you might have to bleep that out. But I don't care if you do or not.
It's a good analogy.
You know what? It is. That's the thing. Like,
it's a
ain't
solid
nothing like the
analogy.
real thing
Sure.
until eventually they're going to invent this AI girl who's like a robot, and she talks to you and tells you your dick is big, and she's just telling you all the right shit, and her pussy feels real, and then that's when the human race comes to a complete halt, because nobody ever reproduces after that, and we're just all in a room having sex with robots all day. And I'm sure there's people testing them out right now that are having a great time doing it for free. But
the future is now.
the future is now. And about 8 years ago, we were approached by a company it was called Atomic, and they make a thing called the Amplifier. And I started using that, and the sounds in it were so great. And it was, and we're actually modeling the 5152, right?
Oh, great.
Isn't that what it is? And it sounds killer. I've been using pretty much the same tones for the last 8 years. It sounds great. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, so I basically my entire everything that you hear at a Steel Panther show that goes through the PA, and it sounds super large. And really the key to the selling point on all of this, there's a couple things for me. It's all right here, so it's all. It's very compact. I could carry this by myself on an airplane, and basically go do a flight date if I wanted to.
Sure.
And it wouldn't really cost me anything. I could just carry that and my guitar, and I could go do a gig anywhere, and it sounds great. It's got 6 different channels, which is more than enough because I really only need a few. And so you got your clean channel, you got your rhythm, and you got lead. And you've got different little setting like delay setting. that kind of stuff. So I've got everything right here in the amp, and I've got the 1987 pedal as well if I want a different kind of boost.
Now,
for my,
who made the 87 pedal?
well, we worked with a secret company to do that. And
is that going to be like a signature thing as well?
Yeah, it's actually for sale on our website, and
great.
it's got delay and a distortion on it.
Oh,
and
that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we've got a
all.
line of pedals out that we sell on our website, and they're all really good. We've got the infamous Pussy Melter.
Sure. Yeah.
That's very difficult to get now. We sold a limited run of that, and we've also got the Poontang Boomerang, which is a delay. This is a delay and a distortion in one. It sounds great on its own. It also sounds great as a boost. But and I've got a tuner, and I've also got a phaser. MXR phaser.
Gotta have it.
Just in case somebody forces us to play Van Halen, which, at this point in the game, now that Eddie's gone and we all love Eddie. And we played a lot of covers before we did records and we were very, very good at doing Van Halen. So we will occasionally do Van Halen, and it's fun. It's fun for the crowd. It's fun for us. And I carry that. But listen, everything is just all right here in one compact little place. There's been times when, so it saves money. You don't have to drag amps everywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's easier if it ever does break down, which is rare. Occasionally, we get hit with beer. Because I don't know why that is. People like to throw beer at me in particular. And I remember we got doused when we were in, we were in Poland somewhere, and somebody threw a beer, and it was just the perfect throw. Like the beer stayed in the glass, and it didn't come out until it landed on top of the amp, and it shorted the whole thing out. But we have a backup, and we put the backup up, and we were up and running within like 2 minutes. And the great thing about these are like, once you have the settings that you like, it's basically you can just have that in your computer, and you can make the other backup sound exactly the same. So when it's going through the PA as opposed to an amp where you got to set up the mic, there's always going to be differences between amp heads and tubes and cabinets and where you put the mic on the speaker. And when this is all set up, it basically sounds the same every night. We're all on inner monitors because it's just easier to be happy when you're on inner monitors, and it also saves on your hearing because I lost about 97% of my hearing in the first 50 years of my career, and it really does help you keep it at a manageable volume level, especially when you have a drummer who doesn't know what the word dynamics means, and he's just pounding the cymbal in your brain. And I like drummers like that. I like drummers that hit hard, but it's a little easier when you're on in-ears. But when you go on in-ears, and here's the thing, like a lot of guys out there, a lot of guitar players, a lot of singers, we all get used to you start off in a band and you like plugging into an amp and turning it up and being in control, like having that control and hearing the drummer over there, hearing the bass player over there. You hear the room. And when you first go on in-ears, it really sucks because you're like, you don't feel like you're in control. You have to tell your monitor guy what to do, what to give you, and everything sounds like you're in the studio. So it's very sterile sounding, and it doesn't inspire you in particular, but it really does give you. It's easier to sing, and it's easier to hear everything. So once you get the mix going, it's really good for saving your ears and for hearing the whole band. So, that's how you end up firing bass players because it's like, oh, this guy sucks. But no, it's really good for hearing everything and for saving your ears. And this, when you move to an amp modeler, it really makes the consistency a million times better because you're not moving the mic from night to night. And for us, we tour internationally, and when we go down to Australia, they're crazy down there. They're like they just discovered electricity 2 years ago. Yeah. And so you plug your amp in, and it's like the amp sounds like it's it's either too hot or too cold. Like you got to change the tubes every 2 hours. It's bizarre, but But with this, it's like it's all digital. So there's no you don't have to like, I mean, I'm telling you, I know I sound like Eric Johnson right now. There's a difference between the the Duracell 9 volt and the Energy. I don't care what you say. But there are differences in like just the electricity in certain countries. It makes amps sound a little bit different. But with this consistency all across the board, I know I'm rambling, but that's what happens when you do cocaine, kids. I'm sorry.
It's great. No, perfect. I love it. And the only other pedal next to the 87, what is that one?
Well, this is a compressor, right, Nick? It's not a compressor. What is it?
It's the Way Huge conspiracy theory.
Way Huge. Way Huge is a great company. And what exactly does it do? Is it a?
It's a transparent overdrive. It's a copy of a very famous pedal with a guy with a centaur on it.
Transparent overdrive. Now I noticed that the sound is a little smoother.
That's what it does.
Pretty much like everything. It doesn't really. It's the same sound as if I wouldn't have it on, but does it limit the volume a little bit? Is that what it does?
In that setting we have, where it's like a clean boost, we're like barely using any gain on it. So it's
yeah. So
doing that thing.
So this is a Way Huge, and but what is the it's a copy of what pedal?
Klon.
The Klon.
Yeah.
Okay, and that thing's like what, $18 million?
Yes.
But this thing's like only what, like a couple $100?
About 29. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really good deal. If you want to save about $900,000, the Way Huge makes some great pedals.
Yeah.
As well, and Nick is my go-to pedal guy for he's always trying new stuff. So it's fun. It's fun to have Nick. But Nick costs a lot of money, kids. You can't have him. Sorry. I'm keeping him for myself. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. I will switch pedals out occasionally from tour to tour, and but I do like to keep it simple. I do not have a big pedal board, if for no other reason. More things can go wrong.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like if shit starts to go wrong, and I'm, and I don't, if I can't fix it, then that's not good, because I'm like, then I get frustrated. So I keep it simple, and just like the strings, you're never going to see me play a 7-string guitar, guys. I'm never going to do it. It took me 50 years to learn how to play 6 strings.
Yeah. Speaking of strings, what?
Like, hey, I made a girl and she's got 2 vaginas. No. That means I have to take out twice as much trash.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of strings, what strings do you use?
these strings are, I think these are they're D'Addarios, right?
Okay.
So 9 through 42.
Oh, Dunlop.
Yeah, Dunlops. Oh, Dunlop.
So,
you know what?
it starts with a D.
I apologize to the Dunlop people, because they give us these with a 3% discount, and they're very, very good. But 9 through 42 Dunlops, I guess I've been using these for a while, right? 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And but I use their picks too. Dunlop picks. I mean, Dunlops. Do they have a monopoly on the pick market? It seems like they make the most picks. Dunlops.
Tortex is that's their proprietary.
I do
Yeah.
have a tendency. I lean towards Tortex picks. I do have a pick with my own bass on it. Can you
Yeah.
zoom in on that? It's exactly what I look like. I looked like 50 years ago when I was in my 30s. You zoom on that, and so this is drawn by a friend of the band's, and her name is Heilwen Fowler, right? Heilwen Fowler. There you go, Heilwen. I give you a little shout out. But I think we're going to get rid of these because I'm tired of these. But no, they're great picks. The Tortex Dunlop makes great picks, and they make great strings as well. Thanks, Nick. So yeah, the 9 through 42. I've always played 9 through 42. Although I do use 10s when I'm in the studio recording. Sometimes just it's easier to do rhythms and dig into it a little bit more.
Sure.
But when you're wanking on stage and doing heavy metal, it's good to have 9s. Makes it a little bit easier. And I do play a Floyd Rose. I know you've already noticed that, all you Floyd Rose guys out there. There's a lot of guitar players out there that don't play. Some of my Floyds, like on this tour, I have both my main guitars they're set. The bridges are set, so they can't go back. They're not floating. That's just so if I break a string, I can still play a chord and it'll be in tune. And if I break a string, I like to just wait till the end of the song to switch guitars. But a lot of guys out there, they use standard bridges and they don't like Floyd's. And if you're one of those guys, you're totally fucking wrong. You're missing out on a huge, awesome part of life that will make you feel good about yourself and get a lot of girls. And Floyd Rose makes, in my opinion, and they don't pay me to say this, they invented the best tremolo system right out of the gate. For heavy metal, I remember seeing Eddie back in like 80. I think, when did he start using those? 83 or 84 or something? It might have been before that.
Yeah.
But when I saw Eddie he had one. I was like, well, I think that's the way to go. And I think I may have tried a couple other systems out, but these were just made right from the beginning. There's really nowhere that the string can go out of tune. So if you're setting it up well, it just stays in tune pretty much the whole show. A little bit out of tune, you might have to fine tune it, but every few songs. But for the most part, it stays in tune great. And I know if you're 75 like me, I'm preaching to the choir. But if you're a kid and you're like 14, you just started playing guitar and you want a whammy bar, this really is the way to go. These come on every Satchel model. I think they're on a lot of Charvels as well. So,
Sure.
And any rock guitar that you want to stay in tune, just put a Floyd on it.
There we go. Those words to live by from guitar icon Satchel. Satchel, thanks so much. Congratulations. You guys are taking over the world.
Thank you. Oh my God, we are just killing it. We're in Nashville tonight. All the country people want us out of town.
Oh, they do.
But we're gonna just
they're picketing right now.
pillage this place.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Okay, till next time.
Thanks, you guys, and remember, don't stop picking.